So, Nancy, what does practicing happiness mean to you?
I have had to really change stuff how I do here. I used to start my day by checking my email and checking the news before my feet even hit the floor.
Yeah.
And I had noticed that my mood in the morning had really changed in not a good way. Like I felt like
Yeah.
I was starting my day berated with just negativity, and it wasn't good for me. So what I have started doing is I don't look at my email. I'll check and see if I have a message from like family or something, but I'm not checking email and I'm not checking the news. I get up, I put in my earbud, and I actually put in an audible, like a book that I've been listening to as I start to get ready for the day, and I start to get everybody ready for the day. And I have noticed that it just has changed. That little adjustment has changed how I start my day, and my mood is much happier. And then eventually I'll get into my email and the news, but it doesn't have to happen the second I start my day. I can start with hugs with the kids, telling everybody to have a good day, and just trying to set the tone for everybody to hit the day the best they can.
Yeah.
With their best foot forward.
That's such a good idea. Yeah. I mean, it's a small habit, but it's making a big impact. So that's great.
And it's kind of even become a joke in my house now, because they're like, "Mom, is your ear in? Is your ear in?" "Yes, but I hear you. What's up?" You know?
Don't bother me. I'm listening to my audible.
Yeah, it's a really good part right now. Shh. What? No. Welcome to Three Lil Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up, fishes?
What's up?
What's going on?
Well, I'm still in my screen and porch because we're still under construction. So it's going to be a process. I apologize.
All right. Well, water damage is never good. Kathy, how are you?
I had a little boo in the kitchen. My Ravel toaster oven that we've had forever just bit the dust.
Oh,
and I was so sad because we use it all the time. So I just got a new one, which I'm actually happy about.
Does it have new features?
Yes. And the one feature that I really like that it has, it's also an air fryer. So our other one, was an oven and a toaster, but it didn't have like that capacity to do that, which I always during the Super Bowl and stuff was like, I wish I had an air fryer so I could make wings. I didn't have an air fryer. So now I do.
Yeah. So am I dumb? I have the same Breville that you did. I don't have an air fryer on it, but it has a convection oven part. Isn't a convection oven and an air fryer like the same?
I think there is a lot of similarity because it's like a moving air thing. I mean, I do have an air fryer. It's like a standalone thing. And it's just like this little basket that's sort of elevated from the bottom of the pan or whatever. And it turns on and it does circulate air. I mean, I don't know.
That's something we should Google. I think because mine also was a convection, but I think it has to do with the heating element in it.
Well, I would be interested once you start to use it, if you can tell a difference between things crisping differently. Between the convection.
I would be so happy if I get crispy. That would be awesome.
Yeah, the air frying thing is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just I'm confused about what the two differences are. But I'm excited for you that you're able to replace it. Mine is old too, and my button, the start button, I have to hit it several times.
You know what? That started happening to me.
I'm a little afraid that mine is also getting ready to die. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Well, Kathy, I will tell you, every time I'm at your house, Jack loves your Breville toaster oven. And he's always like, why don't we have this? This is the best thing ever. Like he used to make little snacks way back in kindergarten. They had like like a little toaster oven. But I feel like I have so much stuff on my counter. I don't want one more thing. But Mom got one up north, and I was like, this is pretty nice because it is like I have 2 built-in ovens. It's kind of like having a third oven.
It's like having a third oven.
I might have to break down and get one. And I'm a big fan of Revel, the brand. I think they make really good quality things.
We had our other toaster for probably, I want to say like 20 years.
That's amazing.
I've had mine a long time too, but I do feel like it is a good brand and I feel like it should last longer than they are.
20 years is a long time.
Was it 20 years? Really? Was it 20 years or was it like half that?
I'm pretty sure I've had it for about 20 years.
That's amazing.
Okay.
I think you need to lower your expectations, Nancy.
I guess so. I just think things should like last forever.
I mean, 20 years is a long time, I feel like. Good job, Revel.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened here. I have a couple things happening with my kids that I'm struggling with a little bit. Well, not struggling with, but Riley, he has cleats for soccer. And now that he's big and he plays almost every day of the week, he has expensive cleats. Sure. And he has them in a like special bag and he, carries them with him throughout the day. He doesn't put them in his locker. I don't know why, but he left them somewhere as he went to go get something and he went back to get his bag of cleats and they were not there.
He didn't find them?
They never found them. And I was like, I couldn't believe it that somebody would want to steal some stinky cleats. But then Tim pointed out that they're expensive. Like people know what the cleats are. So I'm just throwing this out to our listeners is that you gave me a really good tip that you told me to put an air tag in his new cleat bag. So now I air tagged that. I air tagged his backpack. I've air tagged Johanna's stuff. Everybody's getting air tagged because I thought that was such a good tip to throw an air tag into people's bags.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It really does help. Like we started doing it years ago because Jack's hockey equipment is so expensive and we were flying everywhere for hockey. And I was like so paranoid we were going to lose these sticks and whatever. And then you do get these little alerts and you can track it. It's amazing. So, I mean, I'm a big fan. I've got it in my luggage. All the kids have it in their luggage. They all have them in their backpacks. I mean, I think it helps.
I also put them, my son, I told you, lost his wallet. So we have it in his wallet now.
Yes.
And my other son, we have it in his wallet and their keys. So we don't misplace their keys either.
Well, and Apple's done such a good job. Like they make all these like little custom things, like custom like little holders for them. So they're not flying around. So you can attach it to all kinds of stuff. It's smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
So Johanna's not losing her stuff, but her focus has been on, and the big debate for her is she wants fake nails, which I am almost dumbfounded that this little girl wants fake nails because I can't stand anything on my nails. And I'm just like, wait, what? You want fake nails?
Is there someone at school that has fake nails that she is like, oh?
Yeah, I think it's popular for the kids to have nails and play with them and like decorate their nails, but I'm not ready to go down that route. And I don't know if I'm being prudish or what. I'm not ready for you to do that.
She probably has some girls in her class that are like going through puberty and like they're just changing their perspective in the world. But I mean, that is pretty young to have artificial nail. I mean, I can understand maybe wanting to paint your nails.
I did read something where you could get like these like nail wraps where they're just like these stickers that you put on and they're supposed to look like nice and clean and not a big deal. I might try those and see.
Oh, those would be cool to try.
If that could be a compromise. So I'll circle back and let you know. But I was just curious what people think, fake nails at 11. I don't know. Am I prudish, but I'm not ready to do that? I don't know.
I feel like there's some press-on nails out there that really are good that I would start with because it's not a big investment and she can see how like super annoying it is to not be able to grab stuff.
Why don't you try like a weekend nail and see how it goes?
A weekend nail. I just sometimes like, I'm like, wait, what?
She is your pretty princess. I get
I
it.
mean, all right, we'll just see. I'll circle back after I try some compromising here. All right, today on the pod, we're going to talk about hot topics. We're going to talk about practicing happiness and what's for dinner, the trend of gluten-free. But before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody to please rate, review, and invite your favorite fishes to jump in and join our conversation. All right, hot topics. A lot is going on. And one thing I just want to mention first that we didn't mention last week is that Robert Redford passed away. And I'm such a fan of Robert Redford. And
I was too.
So I just want to acknowledge that he passed, and it's a loss. He did a lot. He was a great actor. He did a lot for the environment. I watched Legal Eagles, which is one of my favorite movies with him and Deborah Winger. Do you guys remember that movie?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's kind of a nod to him. But another thing that's really making the rounds, the news, is Keith Urban and
Nicole Kidman
are splitting up. What do we think?
19 years. Holy smokes.
I find it sad.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be married, and you can't get over the hurdle of whatever it is.
And I feel like they just had a 19th anniversary, and she did this like big online like love sort of like letter to him. And here they're always together. People see them out and about all the time. They're always at Predators games. I don't know. I mean, it's sad. I mean, we know being married is hard, but
don't you think?
I don't know.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
I was surprised too. I was surprised.
We never know what's going on with people, but it was shocking just because they've been so open and they've made it seem like they worked really hard and always talk about like supporting each other. And I was surprised.
Yeah, I feel bad for the girls.
Yeah. Taylor Swift's album, Life of a Showgirl, drops this week, which is all the buzz in my house this week. We can't wait for it. You
do have a Swiftie.
We have a Swiftie. And then something else that caught my eye over the weekend. Did you guys see at what game was it? Penn State, Oregon game? The Pat McPhee show. They always do like the field goal challenge, and you can win like $300,000. Did you see these kids this kid from Penn State got an option to do it, and he's like, wait, I'm not a good kicker, but my friend used to play soccer. I would like to do it with him. So he brought his friend, and he had the ticket, and then his friend, who was a soccer player, did the kicking, and he made it. And they are going to split the $300,000.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that they do that.
Yeah, that's so neat. And what a great, I mean, just like a good friendship thing. Story. It's just nice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But the one thing I also want to talk about that kind of bummed me out, and I want to know if you girls saw it, is the Ryder Cup this past weekend. It was played in the United States, and I could not believe how poorly the fans treated, particularly Rory McIlroy, and how awful they behaved.
Yeah, I saw some of it.
In all the news over the weekend. I mean, they had to keep, holding the signs up, and even the American players that was playing with Rory would be like, hey, people, come on, knock it off.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great that we were trying to support him.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand what gives people the right, or they think they have the right to do that. I mean, like, you can have your own opinion and be quiet about it. But golf is a different sport. It's not like a wild football game. Like, it's a quiet sport. It always has been. And there's manners and rules that go with it. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't control yourself.
You're right.
And also a fan threw a beer on his wife. Yeah. Like, I could not believe it. A beer on her.
They had to hold Rory back from going after the guy.
Sure.
it's like the gentleman's sport. I mean, how much money did these people spend on a ticket to get in? And you are yelling F-bombs and heckling and throwing beer on this poor wife.
I know it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I just really don't understand in general people's behavior lately. Even it's not just isolated to golf. Like you see it, with musicians, like in their concerts, people are throwing stuff on stage, and like it used to be underwear and things like that are harmless, but now it's like bottles and things that people can really get hurt with. And I just don't understand it. Like why do people do that? We need to get our manners back as a society.
It feels like we need to remember to just treat each other like a neighbor. And we don't always have to be going at somebody. Like the temperature just needs to be brought down. We are all in this together. Honestly, it was heartbreaking for me to kind of watch it, and it made me sad. It's like, wow, we need to do better.
Yeah.
So moving on to Jelly Roll and Kathy Bates are also making the news because they have lost a ton of weight and are on this like healthcare journey. And Kathy, I know that you are really impressed, particularly with like Kathy Bates.
Well, I just hadn't seen her in a while, and then I read an article. It featured her in it, and she just looks incredible. And she's lost, I think, over 100 pounds. And I think, it was because she has diabetes, and I think it got serious. So she, I think, was on Ozempic as well. And she kind of, in this article I read, talked about how she also worked with her diet and the weight loss drug as a combination. And now she really has a different perspective on like what she's eating. So it's definitely changed like her habits of what she wants to eat. She's not as hungry anymore because of obviously the drug, but she's just learning like what she can and can't eat. And so it was good for her. I mean, like that Ozempic drug, people will lose like 15 to 20% weight loss, which is pretty incredible.
It is, especially when you need to. Yeah. I mean, I think she's had a lot of health issues. Jelly Roll, same thing. I actually saw this like video of Jelly Roll's wife was kind of coming back at people because they were sending her messages and posting messages about how hot Jelly Roll is now.
Right.
And she was like,
he was always hot.
He was always hot. Like he's the same fun person. His soul's the same. Right. His face is the same. Like you guys just didn't know him or pay attention or whatever. So I thought that was like, she was being like, come on guys.
I know people can be mean too, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're like behind, Instagram or being able to just throw a message out and feel like you're invisible. You feel like you can say whatever you want. And I don't love that. I don't love that people feel like they can say whatever they want with no consequences to people's feelings.
The one thing I also, from reading this article about Kathy Bates and Ozempic, was it talked about obesity is a disease.
Yes.
It's not like somebody just wants to eat too many hamburgers or too much pizza. It's like people that are really obese have a disorder, just kind of like, being an alcoholic or some other disease. Like, and I was like, you know what? That actually really struck me because I had never really thought of it that way.
It makes sense.
For some people, because of that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think people need to also give people grace. Like maybe they just can't help it. They need help.
Right.
So that was something that struck me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thinking about moving into our next segment, let's jump in. Practicing happiness. Because last week, Linda said that she had to work on not being negative. Like she's like, you girls are more half full and I'm a more half empty attitude. So I have had to really practice and work on being more half full, lean into the happiness. And I'm wondering, like, So there's a thing called the happiness pie. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
So happiness is like 50% genetics, 10% circumstance, and then 40% personal choice. So genetics definitely play into it, but there's other things that we can do to practice and kind of push us into a happier place. And I'm like, Linda, like, so how do you practice happiness? Like, how are you doing it?
So I think for me, it's really a mindset. It's really a trying to find the silver lining in just about everything. And there is always something to be grateful for, or even when you're kind of going through like icky stuff. Like right now, my house is completely torn apart. It's dirty. I'm down to the studs. But the good news is we got rid of our mold and it's being repaired.
Right.
So it's like instead of wallowing in like the dirt and like everything piled up in my dining room, I just kind of walk by it like it's going to get fixed. It's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. I have to really practice. And I've been doing this for a while, practicing happiness. And my instinct now is to see kind of like the silver lining and stuff, as opposed to being like weighted down and the negative talk. So it does work. You just have to really work at it, and then it becomes second nature. They also say, I think if you exercise more regularly, like I try to exercise 4 or 5 times a week, like that gets the endorphins going and that helps you with your mindset. And if you surround yourself with like happier people, like it helps. So I do think there is something to that. I remember, I'm going to give a shout out to my mother-in-law because she is one of the most positive people on the planet. And when I first met her almost 30 years ago, I thought there's no way anybody could possibly live life this happy. I just thought it was an act. But the more I got to know her, she is looking at the world through the lens of joy. And it really helps her because she has, we all have stuff going on, and she's an inspiration. So I've really tried to I can't be as happy as she is because that's just not my personality, but I'm trying.
Good.
Yeah.
I liked your list you had a list that we'll post on the show notes, but a list of like how to be happy. I think there were maybe 15 things on this list.
Yeah.
And the number one thing on the list was exercise makes you happy. Even though you think it stinks and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? But it does promote like physical and mental wellness.
It does.
And helps relieve anxiety, which is good. And then sleep was number 2, which I'm like, I get crabby if I don't get enough sleep. So
we know.
And my husband's like, why do you need, like, he hardly sleeps. And I'm like, will you just like go away? Because if you're not going to go to bed, I'm going to bed because I got to get some rest. But like, I think I'm that person. It's important for like your memory and it's good for you. But one of the other things that struck me on this list was, it was like at the very bottom, I think, it says focus, like be present in the moment. Like instead of multitasking a million things and not really paying like your whole heart attention to something, they said do something, just whatever, even if it's for 10 minutes, you'll find you'll be more content instead of trying to manage a million things and not really doing something well or whatever. So I thought that those were like good little nuggets in that little article you gave.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
So I want to tell you one little thing that made me happy the other day, because it's totally like was out of the box, but I was outside like working in my yard, and I had our dog Millie with me, and I had thrown the ball for her and like literally had worn her out. And the FedEx driver stopped by the street And I thought he was stopping by the street because sometimes they will do that if they're afraid of the dog.
Sure.
They don't want to come in the driveway because they're afraid the dog will jump or whatever. But no, he stopped. He got out of the truck, walked down the driveway. I said, "Oh, hi." I said, "Do you have a package?" He's like, "No." He said, "I just want to pet your dog and give her a treat because I love her." I was like, "Are you serious?"
I love that. Millie making friends.
Isn't that sweet that he was just being like nice to her?
Yeah.
And also like pets bring happiness. Like
They do.
animals bring happiness. So maybe for him in that moment of that brought him his endorphins, his joy. Like it just takes a minute. You don't have to feel happy every day, every second of the day. It's just trying to find some bright spots to get through. Right?
Anyway, I just want to shout out to him
because I thought
that was a cool thing.
And that's why we have hair all over our house, is to bring us joy and happiness.
Right.
Yes, I love you. I know your hair everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, let's move on. What's for dinner? So the trend we're hearing lately is gluten-free. So we thought that we would kind of like run with this trend a little bit. So I'm not sure why gluten-free is so hot. Like I know if you have celiac, you can't have gluten. It physically makes you sick. You can't have it. Yeah. I know that there's some people who say that they're sensitive to gluten. They feel like it inflames them if they have a lot of gluten. I don't know. I don't know the science behind it. I don't think I have a problem with gluten. But Kathy, you've kind of like looked into this a little bit. What are your thoughts on gluten and gluten-free dinners?
Well, I think the trend right now, why it's becoming, is a lot of millennials and Gen Zs follow a gluten-free diet. Like they said 11% of them do, even though they're not, like they don't have celiac disease. Mm-hmm. Only 1% of Americans have actually celiac, they say.
Yeah.
I think it's because like the media is also a big influence, and a lot of celebrities are endorsing these diets. And I do think that they say gluten can cause inflammation. And I think there are some people that, they don't have celiac, but maybe they do have an insensitivity to it where they don't feel as good in their gut. They'll get like cramping or diarrhea or whatever. So then they take the gluten out and they feel a lot better. And they say, there was an article I read, and like, we're not getting into it like detailed today, but some think if you remove the gluten that there's a reduction in like autoimmune symptoms. And I don't know if this is right or not, but that's why I think people are starting to really think about what they're eating with the gluten.
I mean, I know a lot of people that have, like, they say they have sensitivities or celiac. And I mean, nowadays it is easier to do a gluten-free diet. There's so many packaged things that are gluten-free. So,
I mean, there are tests too that you can, like, I've been tested for celiac and I don't have it. But there's a wheat test, I think, that you can also take to see if you have like a problem with some certain foods.
Are you sensitive to wheat? Are you sensitive to wheat?
I don't think that I am, but I notice that when I do eat a lot of like stuff like that, my GI is just a little bit more irritated, you know? And I've never really like put two and two together like that when I was younger, but I think I am maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to quit eating bread altogether. I think I couldn't, but I just feel like I don't eat as much as I did when I was a lot younger.
Yeah. And for you, you feel like you notice a difference if you eat less gluten.
I think I do. Yeah.
Interesting.
And a lot of like things at the grocery store now, like, I mean, you couldn't find stuff years ago. Like it was, or it was like,
so
that little tiny section in the grocery store and it was so expensive. But now they have a much bigger selection. And, I think this is going to become even a bigger market, they say. And so prices, have come down even now. And I think it's going to just become the everyday, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Who knows what will happen in the future?
I'm not going to eat gluten-free, but I think having a variety of things that you eat, like I use almond flour for some stuff, like, different grains I think are healthy for you to be able to like shake up your diet. I think that having a variety of a diet, I think is a positive thing. But when you suggested this, I was like, well, I have such a sweet tooth and my kids have such a sweet tooth that I bake a lot. And I was just like, how would I bake gluten-free? Like my favorite treat, and I think my kids' favorite treat that I make are chocolate chip cookies. So we talked about gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. And I actually tried this recipe for the New York Times of a gluten-free chocolate chip cookie. And it actually turned out you use almond flour instead of regular flour, and it gives it, they're bigger and it gives it like a more nuttier flavor. I will confess that I didn't watch them closely enough when I first put them in the oven, and I burnt like my first batch and they came out kind of hard after they sat. And I was like, oh, these are not good. These are really crunchy. But then I put another batch in, cooked them much less. And when they sat up, they were good. Like the consensus in my house were they were good, but they prefer the original cookie.
I wonder what would happen if you substituted the almond flour for the gluten-free all-purpose flour. So like,
I don't know.
Red Mill has some and King Arthur has some, and it's 1-to-1. So, it might be interesting to swap out the almond flour for for gluten-free all-purpose flour. I made some oatmeal pumpkin gluten-free cookies last night. You would not be able to tell that they were gluten-free because of the flour has gotten so much more sophisticated, the all-purpose gluten-free flour. So something to try if you're thinking about, going gluten-free, seeing if you could do a little baking. Because I do feel like back in the day, you used to have to sacrifice a lot of flavor and texture for gluten-free, but I think it's changed a lot.
I think it's becoming better and better.
It is. Right. Yeah. So
I made lettuce wraps the other night that are gluten-free.
Yes.
And we'll post it on the show notes too. But I made it with pork, and I actually thought it was really good. I was worried I made it like too spicy because my son doesn't like a lot of spice. But he actually really said he liked it. He gave it, I think, like an 8, and my husband gave it a 9.
Wow!
Which I thought that was like high praise. So
it is, because I feel like they're picky eaters. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I feel like they're a little picky, so I think that is high praise.
Yeah, it was very good.
Okay, so that's what's for dinner. Try the lettuce wraps. I like it.
I had those. They're good. Yeah.
Yeah, try it. A little messy, but they're worth it.
Yeah, they're messy, but.
So it's October, and this month we're doing a segment called Move It Fishes. So we're asking everybody to move at least 6 days a week, 20 minutes a day. Yes. We don't care what you do, but you got to move. And we want to hear you. So please send us an email at 3lfpod@gmail.com. So the letter 3lfpod@gmail.com. And let us know how you're doing. But let's get moving, fishes.
Yes. Love it.
Let's get our endorphins going.
Yeah. Get your happy on.
Yeah. Let's get happy. Happy moving. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. Please get moving, fishes. We're counting on everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Sisters out.